we've had 2 good weeks of preparation. So the boys are in a good place. There's probably a little bit of nerves there as they head into a big game, as there always is. But they feel very good. We've trained really well with some various sessions, but 2 really big sessions in the last week and a half. And we've seen a lot of progress, I think, as well from guys from the autumn into the Six Nations. So guys are in a really good place with good clarity, and we're just looking forward to the game now.
And for you personally, to come back to the Principality Stadium, you've obviously had many memories here as a player. What's it like to walk out on the pitch?
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, I was here 2 years ago when I started the job, and it was, unfortunately, we were in the middle of the pandemic, so there was no one in the stadium. It's an incredible place. You know, we were even talking about the warm up with the choirs singing. You know, the atmosphere is almost building in the warm up, and when the roof is closed, then it's something different, which is probably, you know, we had it in France last year in Stade de France. It seems that a lot of the atmospheres in the autumn were pretty rowdy as well, and it's going to head into the World Cup like that as well. So it's a brilliant, I suppose, opportunity and experience for the lads to experience something special. I suppose with Warren Gatland back for Wales as well, it probably adds to the Welsh crowd's anticipation. So it's a brilliant stadium to play in. You know, whether you're playing for your province here or whether you're playing for your country, it's an amazing stadium to play in, and it's, you know, it's one of the days of your career that the players have to cherish. It's only when you're kind of retired you realise how special it is to go away from home, play for Ireland, and play in the Millennium Stadium against Wales in a packed Millennium Stadium. It's, you know, it's one of the best days of your life. It's only when you're retired and they're gone, you know, you realise how good they were. So hopefully we have a good day tomorrow. I know it's going to be tough, but hopefully we have a good day tomorrow.
How difficult a place is it though to come to kick off a tournament, knowing that you could gather that momentum for the next number of games, but also if you don't win tomorrow, you're playing catch up straight away?
No, that's the reality of it. You know, like we've gotten really, it seems, international rugby, the top teams have gotten closer and closer over the last number of years, and there's very little between teams. You know, we had a good autumn, but it could have been a disappointing autumn as well, but for a few points here and there. So I've no doubt tomorrow will be a tight game as well, and but we're in a good place. You know, we've good clarity on what we're doing. Players, there's real good leadership and ownership in the group, so they're in a good place to put out a good performance tomorrow.
The World Cup is looming. How important is it to maybe have that in the mindset, but not necessarily focus on it, and instead pinpoint the Six Nations over the next month and a bit?
Yeah, I think Andy always has it in the back of his mind, probably. You know, and we sit down and we have meetings where we discuss it and we try and plan for it a little bit, but there's no real value in us, apart from sitting down and discussing it during those periods. There's no value in us looking beyond the next game. That's where we get better, you know, by being next game focused, being focused on putting out a good performance, and then learning from it. You know, win, lose or draw, we have to learn and get better every game, and if we do that, well, then we'll be in a good place heading to the World Cup. I don't think preparing for a game in the Millennium Stadium and thinking or talking about the World Cup does anyone any value.
You mentioned Warren Gatland there, Paul. Just how much of an edge does it give? You know, you played under him as well. How much of an edge does it give the whole group, not just the coaching staff, the players, that he is back?
Yeah, I suppose he brings clarity. I mean, one of the things I remember 2009 tour, obviously, you know, Sir Ian McGeechan was the head coach, but Gats was heavily involved as well, and we'd real clarity on how we were going to play very, very quickly. You know, we didn't have that probably in 2005. You know, we were trying to please everyone a little bit, whereas Gats and Ian, from their time in Wasps, probably knew exactly how they wanted to play, and they were able to get that across to the players really quickly. And you know, I think one of the most important things in a physical game is having clarity on how you're going to play the game, so that you can be physical when you do play it, and that's one of the strengths that Warren Gatland's teams have, I feel.
Yeah, so you feel it can be he's just in, that he can make a big difference already?
Well, yeah, that's what I found on the lines. You know, it was one of the biggest. It was one of the biggest things I noticed that was that we had a very clear game plan very early on, and we knew exactly what we were doing really early on. And I'd imagine that's the formula he'll be going for with Wales now, and particularly when they haven't had as much time. And you know, you can layer things on as you go along, but he'll bring clarity to what they're doing, and that's a really important part of rugby.
All the talk yesterday, Paul, was turning it into a good old-fashioned physical tussle. Is that what you're expecting? And if you get tied in, how long do you think it'll stay that way before you can maybe break out of it?
Well, I think it's going to be a physical tussle. Every game in this competition is going to be a physical battle. It's part and parcel of the game, and you got to be prepared for that, and you got to be looking forward to it. You know, I think it's a strength of ours, and it's a strength of Wales's as well.
Any concerns about your front five?
No concerns about our front five. You know, a lot of players that have been, I suppose, playing really well, have been injury free for a while now, performing really well. So we're looking forward to seeing the boys out there.
Well, you can't be those favourites. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I suppose we talk about it a little bit, but and maybe it was something that maybe it was something back in our playing day, my playing day. Anyway, we try and run away from. I think these guys, it doesn't bother them either way. They're probably happy to be world number one, but more focused on getting better really than remaining world number one. You know, I think you could go back a place or two and improve as a team, and that's what we'd want. So even though we discuss it the odd time, favouritism and what that means, there's a focus on getting better in the group. That's all you see with the Irish players. You know, whenever you go around the provinces and you chat to them, all they're focused on is getting better and improving and how to make the team better. You know, there's a really good leadership group here that, you know, I suppose they've cracked. You'll never have cracked the anxiety piece around the big games. You know, there's always a little bit there, but they've cracked focusing on the performance and getting a good performance and I suppose seeing where that leaves us rather than being too worried about winning or losing.